Hello, I'm Paula Roy, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to a series of special holiday episodes of Paula Roy's Favorite Foods right here on Rogers TV. Well, the festive season is upon us, and of course that means thinking about gifts and thoughtful gestures for friends, colleagues, neighbors, teachers, whoever you might have on your list. And I'm here to tell you that handmade edible gifts are the way to go. People really appreciate the thoughtfulness of something that's handcrafted, and I find more and more everybody's excited about a consumable gift. We all have lots of stuff, and trying to figure out what to do with a new knick-knack or what have you can be challenging for some people. But when it's something that you get to eat or drink and then it's done, everybody's pretty happy. So on this series of 4 shows, I'm going to show you some of my favorite edible gifts. There are many, many ideas on my constantlycooking.com website, but I've curated together some of my favorites for you. And in this first episode, I'm going to show you a few ideas that you could make ahead of time and just have tucked away, ready for gifting. Great if a spontaneous gift-giving session arrives and you know you've got something delicious ready to hand over. So the first recipe I'm going to show you is a layered soup mix. This was inspired by some very giftable items that I saw at my local Farm Boy. These beautiful cellophane tubes with all kinds of ingredients inside for a delicious soup mix, and you don't have to add a whole lot of extras, and you have this delicious wholesome pot of soup. So I came up with my own variation on that, and this is a curried coconut lentil soup. So full of flavor, healthful, nutritious, comforting. It's just a really, really great soup mix. So I'm going to assemble it today in a canning jar. It doesn't have to be one with a sealer lid like this actual canning jar, as long as it's a 2-cup or 500 milliliter capacity. If you wanted to do it in a bag like you see for the mixes in the store, I recommend setting the bag inside a tall drinking glass or a measuring cup so that you can layer the items as we're going to do in the jar. I also found these really cool mason jar bags at my local dollar store. They happen to be a 2-cup capacity, and as you can see from this one, they stand up on their own, so it makes filling them a breeze. So that would be kind of a fun thing, and they're sealable at the top and reusable, so a good environmental option as well. So to make our soup mix, first things first, open the lid on the jar. And I said it's curried coconut. So the coconut in this case comes from coconut milk powder, and I just love this product. It's got a much longer shelf life than cans of coconut milk. And one of the beautiful things about it is you just add it to water to reconstitute it, so you can make up as little as you want. If you've got a recipe that only calls for, say, a half a cup of coconut milk, you're all set, because that's all you need to make. Or you can obviously use the whole package to make a can's worth. So you can find this in most grocery stores. Really, really helpful product. And I've got my coconut milk here, already measured out. It happens to be a half a cup. And I'm going to put it in a sealable bag, because then we can tuck that inside the jar as our first element of our soup mix. So there we go. And you just want to try and squeeze the air out as you're sealing the bag so that you can fold it up nice and small to fit in the jar. And I'm just going to do that by pressing down on the coconut powder so it fills the bag. And then I know that's what's in there and not air. This has a great shelf life, so you don't have to worry about anything going wrong with it sitting in the jar for however many months it takes for your recipient to make their soup. And I've got a spoon here just to poke items down as I put them in, because you want the layers to be fairly flat. All right, so we've got a combination of red and green lentils today. Sometimes they look really green, sometimes they're more brown, but they're called green lentils. The red ones are a tiny bit smaller and they cook a little faster. So I favor these a bit more over the green, and that's why I've got a bit more of the red than the green here. And we're going to put in a 1/4 cup at a time, and you want to layer them because it is a layered gift. So 1/4 cup is 4 tablespoons, and I'm just going to put them in and try and scatter them sort of evenly. And then I can just smooth them out like that so it's a pretty even layer. So there's our first addition. And now I'm going to do a 1/4 cup of my green lentils. And already you can see how the layers are taking shape. And it's good to not shake the jar while you're making it, because the lentils will settle into each other and the layers won't be quite so pronounced. There we go. And yes, you guessed it, another layer of the red lentils. Lentils are extremely nutritious, and they're also very inexpensive, which makes them a great option for a soup gift. And you can easily make many, many jars of this at one time. Just set up a real assembly line. So that's kind of an option. I think that was only 3. I forgot to count. There we go. And now I don't need to measure because I know I've got a 1/4 cup of the green left, so in they go. You can find lentils in bags at most food shops or grocery stores, or you can also get them at bulk stores as well. And again, we know it's the last of the reds, so I'm just going to pour them on top. And this recipe, which like every one I'm going to show you, is on my Constantly Cooking website, constantlycooking.com, is scaled to perfectly fit this 2-cup jar. So that's why I'm recommending that's the size you use, even if it's not a specific canning jar. So now we've got our aromatics or our seasonings to go next. So I've got a couple of bay leaves to put on top. And then I've got a combination of course, curry, since it's curried coconut. And all of this is going to go into another bag. So here's my curry powder. It just smells so good. And some turmeric, which is also a great flavor booster, and it'll give it a more vibrant color. And I've got some dehydrated onion flakes. These are really delicious, way better than an onion powder or onion salt, and they constitute back up into just beautiful, delicious onion flavor bombs. And last but not least, I've got some dehydrated herb and vegetable mix. It's a blend. You can find it in lots of different stores, many different brands. It's peppers, tomatoes, all kinds of herbs, all kinds of things. And it's, again, a great flavor booster. And because it's shelf stable, you don't have to worry about any fresh herbs withering in your jar or getting moldy or anything like that. So once again, we're going to seal this up. Try and get all the air out. I can still feel a little air bubble in there, so I'm going to open it again. There we go. And then we just want to fold it on top. And I think I'm going to fold it so that the herbs and the onions and the curry are all showing. And look at that. It just fits in the top to fill the jar. So we'll put the lid on it. And when you go to gift it, it's a great idea to print out the recipe on how to make it. You can find a printable PDF with the curried coconut lentil soup mix recipe on my website, and it gives all the step-by-step instructions to make the soup, starting from sautéing some fresh garlic in oil or butter, rinsing the lentils, adding them to the pot along with a liquid of choice, and then putting in the spices, cooking till the lentils are soft. Then you add in the coconut milk powder, any add-ons that you wish, like chopped spinach, chopped cooked chicken. Give it a simmer, garnish with lime and maybe some fresh cilantro, and you've got a delicious, nutritious soup. So this makes just a fantastic gift. You just have to tie the recipe card on like this, and it's perfectly presentable as is, or you can tuck it in a gift bag if you wish. So there we have curried coconut lentil soup, your first edible gift from the kitchen. All right, welcome back to the next segment of this festive holiday episode where we're showcasing edible gifts from the kitchen that you can make and show people that you really care about them over the holidays. But of course, they're not just for the holidays. Edible gifts are welcome at any time of the year. They're great as a thank you for a neighbor who does a favor for you, or perhaps it's a host or hostess gift that you need, or you could do a basket of homemade edible gifts for a birthday present. Lots and lots of possibilities here. So we're going to shift to edible condiments. Well, all condiments are edible. Homemade condiments, and I find that artisanal or gourmet condiments are really all the rage right now. You see all kinds of fancy ketchups and barbecue sauces. I have a number of recipes for them on my Constantly Cooking website because I love making them and I really love eating them. And now I'm going to show you how to make a delicious grainy maple whiskey mustard, and it's fantastic on all sorts of things. We'll talk about that while we're putting it together. So first I'm going to start by putting a pot on heat, and I've got a mixture of brown and yellow mustard seeds. The brown mustard seeds look almost black when you buy them, so you may see them labeled as black. It's the same item. They've been soaking since yesterday in a mixture of hot water and rye whiskey, and that's because I'm going for a little Canadian theme here. You could use Scotch or bourbon if you like, but I find that rye and maple syrup makes this a really Canadian condiment. And the reason that you soak them is to soften the seeds. They'll absorb all the liquid, and then it makes it less gritty when you go to enjoy the condiment. So I'm going to put this in my pot. And there's still a little liquid left in there. There hasn't completely soaked it up, but most of it.